Welcome to the OddPodd, the oddest little podcast on the internet. I'm Stacey Kruger. Who are you beautiful people?
Spoiler alert, I'm casually challenged.
That's a motorcycle behind me, in case somebody's wondering. Who's next up?
I'm Red, and that's Joe Motorcycle.
I'm Robbie, and I'm sick as hell.
And I'm undead, and I'm tired as hell.
Well, that's because you're basically, you're undead. You're... God.
Dear
Poor
me.
Robbie, though. Robbie's a trooper, guys. He really is. He's sick as hell. He should be resting for work tomorrow, and he's like, fuck it. I'll do the podcast anyway, because I'm a trooper. Guys,
Podcast is more important anyway.
come on, let's get a round of applause for Robbie. Come on now. Fuck yeah, Robbie. Or the
Thank
golf
you.
cap.
That sounds like fapping.
Well, should we give the fap clap? Just... God damn it. It took us, 30 seconds to go into Perverland. All right, yeah! Record for... Well, that's not a record at all. I think that's pretty much on par with us. How have you guys been this week? How's everything been? Good, I hope. Undead, I know things have been happening for you, man.
Yeah, I've been flat out the last, 2 weeks. Working on a website for a group of friends of mine that are doing a music festival.
Yeah, kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal, I would say.
Well, considering I'm making separate band pages for all the people who are playing each year.
And how many bands total are we talking here?
This year, there's a total of 56 bands.
And you could hear his will to live start to melt away as he said that number. And we have 56. Fuck.
Yeah. And, yeah, I've just been flat out with that.
Robbie, anything been happening fun with you besides being sick as a dog?
My
Being
store
the
bought
dog has
him.
always been.
Yeah, my store bought him the controller for Steel Battalion. That was pretty cool.
I'd never heard of this thing until you brought it up in the pre-show, and I was like, what the hell is this? And this is something I want to talk about earlier is peripherals in general. I really, really want to talk about this because I saw this thing, and it's just a big fuck-off controller, man. You see this on somebody's shelf, and instantly you go, I'm intimidated by that thing.
Hey, Razor, we'd love a sponsorship.
Yeah. Well, they might not after we're done talking.
I'm honestly amazed we managed to find somewhere to put it.
Well, you can always find somewhere to put... Oh, the controller! The guy... Sorry.
Oh, that too.
Red, anything fun been happening for you, man?
No, I'm just boring.
We got new internet. That's something, man. You got rid of the shitty internet, kept dropping, and got something better, right?
Yeah, I got my dedicated internet line just for me.
Which I'm fucking jelly. Okay, listen, me and him go through the same internet company now. I get 60 down, 10 up at all the time, which is the best I can get in my area because I live in a really shitty old apartment building that used to be a school, so the wiring is just garbage, right? He goes to the same fucking company. What do you get, Brad? What do you get?
100 down, 50 up.
Fuck you. Seriously. I hate you so much right now. I'm so jelly, dude. Ugh. Casual. I know some shit's been happening with you, dude. I know you kind of shut off from the world for a reason, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I didn't shut off the world, but I pretty much am not on the medias, the socials and everything.
I think it's for a different reason than me, though. I kind of shut off because I just hate humans. You shut off for a totally different reason.
Well, here's the thing. If you're listening to this right now, you'll know that a movie called Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out relatively soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
you sound so happy about this, Robbie.
I am happy.
It came out in the United Kingdom already. And apparently there's, as with any movie, there's a few spoiler moments. Apparently this one has some big spoiler moments. I don't know what they are, fortunately, yet. But basically people have immediately gone to the various social medias and felt the need to spoil all the big moments in Guardians of the Galaxy after they saw it.
I don't
I've
get
already
why.
unfriended like 30-some people off Facebook.
Why do people feel the necessity to do this? Why are they like, you know what? I got to experience this for the first time. Fuck you. Time to ruin it for you. Why do people do this?
I think it's a combination of assholishness plus some people are just really, really eager to talk about stuff. And they don't really necessarily think about what other people may not have seen it yet.
Okay, I can get the whole excitement factor, but it just seems douchey.
I mean, yeah, I get being excited for something. And I even get the, you know, like if you are in the media, like if you are one of the news sources, those people have to actually follow all these things and talk about them.
Yeah.
But you can do it without spoilers. You know, you can just say there's something really big that happens and you're going to love it. But the problem is, for example, when The Force Awakens came out.
I remember those streams.
And I know Stacy experienced this directly because I was actually in multiple channels and I saw some of the people doing this. Basically, for those that don't know, it's been out for a while now. Spoiler alert. Han Solo dies in the movie.
What?
Wait, what? He does?
What?
So what happened was people immediately, like the day it came out, not the Friday night, but the Thursday afternoon or whatever when they release things slightly early now, people went to Twitter, not just saying Han Solo dies. They made Twitter accounts that were called Han Solo Dies.
Yeah. I remember this. And me, at this point, I had disconnected from Star Wars. I just wasn't excited for it anymore. After number 3, I was like, I'm done with this franchise altogether. So I kind of gave up. So I started laughing at this point, right? So me, I'm finding this comical as hell. Like, I think it's douchey what they did. But me, as an outsider who didn't give a shit anymore, I'm like, oh my God, these people are going fucking nuts. What is wrong with you assholes? Why are you doing this? I could hate something with a fiery passion, still not do this to a fan base. This is just wrong, man. You know? Me, with my hatred for Undertale, even I wouldn't go out the day after playing Undertale 2 if it ever came out and go, did you know what happens? This happens. It just seems wrong, man. You know, I was like, you guys are fucking ass fucks.
It reminds me of a Vine I saw once where this guy goes, "Hey, have you seen my new spoiler?" And his friends look at the back of his car and it says, "Snake kills Dumbledore."
Wow.
That's great. But yeah, I don't can anybody else explain, like, why do people feel it necessary to immediately go out? Is humanity that much of an asshole? I mean, yes.
Okay, yes. Just yes. But I think there are, obviously, as we said before, there's a portion of people who are just so excited they say something without realizing it. Like, oh, hey, dude, oh my God, you won't believe when Han dies. It's, oh, shit, sorry. And there's always going to be those chunk of people who are just so excited they go into fucking verbal diarrhea mode, obviously. But we're not talking about those people right now. We're talking about the ones who actively go out. I think, honestly, they fucking love watching the reactions of people, and that's it. It's because we give them that reaction. That's the only reason they do it, truly. It's because they know when they go into a message board, when forum, whatever you want to call it now. I remember back when it was still called message boards. Note to self, old Mark for Stacy. But you know,
Stacy,
what?
We don't need to hear about your days on AOL.
Well,
Stacy was on Earthlink. Come on.
Both. We're not going to talk about this. Where's my cane? Son of a bitch. Actually, I have it right behind me. Fuck! There went the old joke to try to be funny about it and realize I actually do have my cane right behind me. There's a bad sign, isn't it? Moving on! But we're honestly, I think it's because we give the reaction that we give. You know, you go into a stream, you go into a forum, you create a Twitter account, you say these things, you get the reactions you crave. You want people to scream at you and call you a cunt because then you can laugh at them going, oh, look, I got at them good on this one. If you didn't get those reactions, shit, right, Rob?
That's a classic troll formula. Don't feed the trolls. If you don't react to it, they stop doing it.
Exactly. That's exactly it. If you just ignore it, like me, when it happened to me, I laughed it off. Like, because people came in left and right. I was like, come on, don't be douches. Ban them, ban them, ban them. Pretty soon, it was like 2 days later. I thought the whole thing had died down. Someone came in because I was in the middle of playing Minecraft. And on there, you can name your tools and dumb shit like that. And I just looked at chat. I was like, hey, guys, what should we name this hammer? You know, it's like, come on, somebody give me a fun name. And the first thing that pops up is, dude, Han dies, dude. And I was just like, oh my God, this is awesome. Thank you. That's the greatest name on earth. So that's actually why I ended up naming my hammer in Minecraft. And mind you, this is after, the spoilers went out to everybody at this point. So everybody knew. So it became, you make fun of it at that point, and then they start to feel stupid because you're laughing at them instead of reacting towards it. Yeah, I mean, I think really if we want to stop the whole spoiler craze, I mean, there's always going to be people who try to piss you off by doing it. But if you just stop reacting to it, they're not going to get the reactions. Therefore, they're not going to do it anymore. Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately, I agree with you that, if you don't feed the trolls, then they don't have anywhere to go. Unfortunately, people are emotional. And,
True.
when they are, in love with something, like when I saw I was lucky enough to see The Force Awakens the day it opened, right before all of the trolls, came out. Mm-hmm. But there have been some other things that I have been spoiled, and I don't get mad at it. Like, I just kind of go, really? Because the last time that something was majorly spoiled for me was The Sixth Sense. And I did get mad. And I realized...
that movie, yes.
I realized it was a waste of my time to get mad about it. But, again, people are emotional, people are going to get mad, and there's always going to be this troll feeding because we can't help ourselves. Some of us may not get mad, but somebody will. Yeah. And the internet, just... And it worries me because it gets harder and harder for movies to keep things from people. Because they don't just want to spoil it when the movie comes out. We've gotten lucky with Guardians of the Galaxy that apparently this is something, whatever it is. Again, I don't know because I'm avoiding the media. But
until this podcast comes out,
right?
Can confirm it involves a blowtorch and a tree. I don't know. I don't fucking never seen the movie.
My biggest question is it just me or is it? Trolls nowadays are bigger nerds than the five of us.
I would say yes.
Well, I would say that's the trolls being nerdy losers who live in their mother's basement.
Like I would say that the trolls nowadays, they are the nerds. That's the reason that they know the information.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But they go beyond being fans and they become assholes.
Yeah.
Because they actively want to spoil. They aren't just going, like Stacy was saying, well, some of people are just excited. And you can tell the difference because the people that are excited are going on their Twitter and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened." The people that are assholes are changing their Twitter name to Han Solo dies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just it makes me sad for humanity.
Dude, I've been sad for humanity for years, man. This is nothing new at this point. Excuse me. I don't know, man. I wish humanity wasn't like this, but I would also love people who say, well, this was never around until the internet got big. No. Trust me, these people are always there. It's just the internet gave them a springboard. That's really all there is to it.
Like everything else, the internet made things much easier.
Exactly. So it's just, it sucks that it happens, but I can't think of any way to fucking stop it. You know what I mean? Besides, once again, just quit reacting. But as Casual pointed out, we're fucking humans. We're emotional little bitches. We don't stop reacting, like, ever.
I am not a bitch. You take that back.
Well, I am, but that's besides the point. Jesus. Oh,
and
man.
They only feel the need to spoil the big mainstream movies,
Oh, right. Yeah.
not the art house stuff.
Well, that's because nobody's watching the art house stuff.
Well, Casual, you got a point.
Well,
Or cast your net wide.
I know a lot of people may not be nerds, but they still want to see, the Infinity War movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I expect a ton of spoilers for those.
Well, the thing about that,
But the budget for those two movies is something insane.
yeah,
Last year it was like $1 billion with a capital B.
Why the fuck would you drop $1 billion on a movie?
Okay, so first of all,
Stacy,
Yes.
put your pinky finger to your mouth and say
There you
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. Okay, so here's the thing. Disney, which we know owns Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own everything. They are investing essentially 500. People are looking at the $1 billion mark, but they are investing what amounts to $500 million per movie because it's for both of them. It's no longer called Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. It's like Infinity War and whatever they're titling it for the second part because they're trying to make sure people know this isn't a Part 1 and Part 2. It's actually two movies.
Yeah.
But that being said, they're filming them together. $500 million each. $1 billion. Two movies being filmed at once. Now, that sounds like a lot. And it is. It's the most money any movie has ever had. I think the last movie that had a huge budget was like $350 million, and it was one of the Pirates movies or something. But look at how much money they're gonna make on these movies.
True.
I mean, they're making $1 billion like almost every movie they put out now. So I imagine not only will they make their money back, but they're going to make their money back off the other stuff. The merchandising and the video games and all of the other things.
True. It's just, I don't know, man. The thought of dumping that much money into one movie, especially when I've seen movies which have next to no budget at all, like a couple $1,000s, just rake in the cash. I can't help but wonder, do they overthink it at times, thinking if we put more money into it, we'll make more money out of it? Or am I just underthinking it?
No.
Hey, guys.
Well,
So I just looked up the what movies made the most in theaters.
Yeah.
Right.
You guessed number one.
I would say Titanic.
Talking about global box office, it's Avatar.
Disney.
Oh, Disney?
Focusing.
Oh,
Disney.
like
I
One of
don't
the
know
Pixar
anything
movies.
from them.
Actually, you're wrong.
Wait, Pixar's owned by Disney owns Pixar?
Yeah.
Yes, I told you they own everything.
Oh, fuck me.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens total gross theaters global made $936 million.
Jesus Christ.
Opening made $247 million.
Well, it's still in the millions, not billions, though. Yeah, I mean.
And Stacey, your favorite movie, Frozen, made $400 million. Opening theaters, apparently to this website, only made $243,000.
Are you on?
Do you want to
Box
hide a
Office
body?
Mojo?
Yes, Box Office Mojo.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure the Star Wars Force Awakens made over $1 billion.
According to this, it was only 900.
No, that's domestic.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's only domestic. And for those that don't know, domestic means in the U.S.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. Okay.
So it only made $936 million in the U.S. It made $2 billion, like just shy of $2.1 billion currently worldwide.
Okay, you know what? That's a totally different story at that point then. Yeah, I mean, When I was thinking that meant total, I was like, God damn, maybe they're starting to fucking, like, obviously I'm not part of the company. They can go fuck off and spend all their money they want. I was just going to say they're overthinking it, but never fucking mind.
Well, here's what you have to consider, though, too, specifically for these. Like, for the Pirates movies, I imagine most of that went to the actual special effects because, they didn't have a whole lot of stars other than Johnny Depp and Johnny Depp. Let's face it, Orlando Bloom is not big enough to rake in the big money.
Who?
By the way, the product budget for Star Wars: The Force Awakens was only $245 million.
Well, they fucking raked it on that motherfucker then.
Worldwide, $2,068,000,000.
Yeah. So here's the reason that they're going to be paying $1 billion for Infinity War Part 1 and 2. Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Robert Downey Jr.,
Which
Chris Evans. The point is that they are going to be probably spending half that budget on the stars for this movie because they have literally all the stars and who knows how many characters. They haven't confirmed how many characters are going to be in them yet, but they have the potential of all the different characters from the entire Marvel Universe up to this point.
Yeah.
So
I remember it being something, it was like more than 60, I think.
Yeah, so they're basically going to be spending this on the actors.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. Maybe it's just me, but I've found so many times that thought process of if we just spend the money on the big name actor, this will be a huge hit. And it's failed so many times. I mean, it's been working for these guys so far, but also at the same time, look at Thor 2, whatever the hell that one was called. It didn't exactly kick major ass, and they had a huge actor in that one. Thor himself, whatever his name was.
I don't know if Chris Hemsworth was actually that big when Thor 2 came out. He has become big because of the Avengers and because of things, but I don't know if he... But yes, I mean... But here's the thing. There's something I like to call the Pixar effect. It's when you're talking about a movie that, quote, sucks. Most people don't like movies, for one reason or another. And they tend to, especially in the modern age, group a movie into this movie sucks or this movie was great. There's no more in between for some reason.
Yeah.
The Pixar effect is look at all the movies Pixar has made. Toy Story 3, The Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo. All of these movies are great movies. They're at this whole other level where they're fun to watch. They're good for kids and adults. They take story into account over just being a dumb kids movie.
Yeah,
and they actually have some sort of underlying meaning to put towards the children.
Right. Now, when you get a Cars 2, or A Good Dinosaur, or Brave...
Planes 2.
It's actually not. But yes, when you get these other movies that aren't quite as good as the excellent level that the franchise has been, or not even franchise, but that the company has been making at this super high level, people will call those movies bad because they're comparing them essentially in their mind to the other movies that have come before. But they're not actually bad. Thor 2 was not a bad movie. It has tons of great moments. It has a story that makes sense. It has characters that are interesting, not counting the villain. He's stupid and boring. But when you compare Thor 2 to The Avengers and Iron Man and all these other great movies, it's the Pixar effect. People start calling it bad, and they it's not bad.
And it gets
just
unfairly stuck with that label.
Exactly. It's just not as good.
I will say I enjoyed Thor 2 more than Thor 1.
See, I love Thor 1. I haven't got a chance to watch Thor 2 yet. I actually had no idea that Thor 2 ever came out until I saw the newest Thor come out. I'm like, oh, wait, there was a second one? What the fuck? This is the third? What the hell happened?
Well, it was kind of a forgettable movie because of the villain, but Loki kills it in Thor 2. I mean, if no other reason, you should watch Thor 2 for Loki.
Okay. See, I liked Loki, but at the same time, I wanted to smash his face in with a brick, which I guess realistically, that's a good thing because that means he did his job really well as an actor.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's playing the role.
Exactly. You know, every time you say it just wasn't as good as the thing that came before it, I think about the whole DC Marvel wars that are going on. We've talked about numerous times. Could that also possibly go into that where the DC flick that just came out, it sucks? Well, maybe it doesn't suck. It's just not as good as the Marvel flick you just checked out. Is that applicable here?
No.
You don't
DC
think so?
movies actually suck. They are structurally unsound. Like, from a movie-making foundation, they are unsound. The problem with DC right now is twofold, and I think we've talked about it on other podcasts. Basically, one is they're trying to catch up to Marvel, which they don't need to do. And the other thing is that they're handing things off to the wrong people. And hopefully they're fixing that with Jeremy Johns, but Jeff Johns. Hopefully they're trying to fix that by putting Jeff Johns in charge. But basically, like Suicide Squad, they had something. We didn't know what they had because they showed us the final product. But they had something, and then based on reviews of Batman v Superman, they changed it because people didn't like Batman v Superman. And how did they change it? They hired the people that made the trailer for the movie to re-edit the movie.
Okay, now maybe I'm not huge into the movie scene enough, but that seems kind of crazy. Is that a standard practice? Have other companies ever done this? We're like, you know what? They made our trailer really good. How about we let them do a whole full-fledged... Is it normal for companies to only do trailers but not movies? Or is it normal for them to kind of canoodle? Or...
It's absolutely normal for trailer people to only make trailers. It's literally their job to take whatever footage they're given and make an exciting thing to get people in the theaters.
Then why the hell would they go stop and go, you know, this is a great idea. How about we have them come in and do it instead?
Because DC is insane.
You know, that's what sucks because DC, we've known this is my favorite comic book company. So every time it's like, why are you shitting on everything?
I just have like a picture of the people at DC thinking like, why isn't anything we do working?
Well, there are some times where things are good, like Dark Knight 1 and 2. Very good movies. And then the third one.
Well, yeah, that's a director being given free reign too. And that's what they're not doing. He means Batman Begins and he means the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yes, I'm sorry, I should have said that better.
But that was Christopher Nolan. Like, they completely handed the reins to Christopher Nolan and said, "We want Batman. You want to do Batman? Here, have Batman." And part of the reason for that was because the previous Batman movie was Joel Schumacher's abortion of a movie. And so when they handed the reins over totally, they got a great product. But they haven't been doing that with the current crop of movies. They've been restricting the directors and you know, it's been movie by committee.
What brought out that trend? That's what I need to know. You know what I mean?
Marvel.
Really?
Disney Marvel. Iron
Marvel. Man. Yeah.
So that's what broke it out. And
success.
Why won't other companies grasp on to going, this is a great idea. Let's keep doing this.
Well, That's the problem. They are trying to. The Marvel's whole connected universe thing, everybody's trying to copy it. But they're not. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get to the end before they start at the beginning. And Marvel started at the beginning, and they put their products out there, and they built a universe.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe started from fan reaction.
Yeah.
The end of Iron Man has Samuel L. Jackson show up as Nick Fury and say, "Let me tell you about the Avengers Initiative," and that was literally it. It was just going to be that. They were just going to do other movies, and that was going to be it. Fan reaction to that. Go ahead, Casual.
I was just going to say, all the nerds.
Then Marvel thought, we might have something here, so let's put another teaser at the end of The Incredible Hulk.
No
and
shit,
then it just blew up from there.
And it should also be noted that DC was trying to do this at the same time. And in fact, Marvel was actually trying to. They wanted their movies to be connected just like their comics. And
wasn't there an actor that was being pulled by both Marvel and DC to play in both of their movies?
Oh, there's been numerous actors that have probably been doing that.
But I mean, like, starring in both of them, or not starring, but being in both movies at the same time.
Oh, shit.
That's happened multiple times, I think.
But there was a big name. I'm trying to remember the name of the actor.
It's entirely possible, but like when Marvel tried it first, it was the Hulk. In fact, I think it was just called Hulk. It was an Ang Lee directed. Some people liked it better than the Incredible Hulk. And
is that the one where it looks like he's made of Play-Doh?
Yes.
Oh.
Basically, the visual effects weren't quite there. I mean, it was like 2003 or 4, I think, and that was their first attempt. Now, since Hulk was not as well received, and it should be noted that Marvel is still doing one thing in the same vein that they tried in the first place. The reason that Ang Lee was selected to direct was because they were trying something different. You know, they were trying to get somebody that wasn't a comic book nerd, that, you know, and they're still kind of doing that today. They're still hiring directors that are different. You know, some of them aren't as big, some of them do different projects, you know, but where they've self-corrected is they're hiring directors that not only are different, but they do have a passion for the comics themselves. So it's working a little bit better.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw that one. I went and took a look at the Hulk, and oh god, does he look like shit in that movie? He really does, man.
Yeah, it was 2000, early 2000s. I mean, you know, the visual effects were not there.
Oh god. So I looked at it and I started to get that feeling back in your stomach of kind of like, blah, blah, blah. Oh god, I can feel the vomit starting to rise. Oh god, I remember the first time I looked at this now.
Reminds me of the first time I watched your stream.
That's a normal reaction, actually. That's a perfectly normal reaction. All right. Since you brought up streaming, I do want to talk a little bit about streaming right now. At least with...
I have an announcement to make quickly.
Yes.
Stacy got affiliated.
Yeah, that kind of happened. Of course, you just need to be a warm body and you get affiliated. That's really not that difficult. Okay.
It's still a big deal.
Yes, it is, because we can support the stream better financially. But it's not difficult. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sound cocky. I'm not trying to sound arrogant. I'm not none of that. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole, like, oh, it should have happened. No, not by any means. I'm very grateful that it happened. It's just I'm at the realization that it's not difficult to get affiliated by any means. They're kind of handing this out like it's candy at this point. You just have to stream a total of 500 hours in a month. That's... No, not a month. What was it? In
I was going to say a month. That's easy for someone who streams like you do.
I know, but what? It wasn't a month. What was it? 500 in like a year or some stupid shit. That's
even easier.
I know. It's some crazy shit where it's just way too simple to get it. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm very thankful that it happened, but I'm not at the point where I'm kind of stopping going, well, you know, it's a huge deal. You know, no, it's cool. It's awesome, but it's not like I was sitting there going like, this is a 1 in a million chance by any means. Yeah, I mean, coffee. Num, 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 num. But as far as it goes for video games, I want to like come to a screeching halt, guys. When Robbie talked about this big ass thing he brought into okay, Robbie, let me rephrase that. When he talks about this gaming peripheral, this big huge gaming peripheral he brought into his store, which was the Steel Battalion controller. I was like, what the hell is Steel Battalion? First off, it's been years since I heard about this game. This came on the Xbox, regular Xbox. I almost said Xbox One out of habit, like PS1. No, the Xbox. And I was like, what the hell is Steel Battalion? Looked it up. This is a big fuck-off controller.
Oh, yeah.
And this is huge. This is stupid. It's massive. But then it made me stop and think about the rest of the peripherals that have come out. And why aren't these things doing well? Why is it that peripherals never work? They're just, they're cool. They're awesome. They're really neat little things. But they never succeed. Why do you think peripherals never succeed?
I don't know. They seem, a lot of the time, they seem quite kind of gimmicky, and I think a lot of people don't want to buy something separate just to play their games.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that controller!
Right?
Yeah.
They're massive. It's stupid.
That was my exact reaction when we bought it in.
As Robbie stated, the most peripherals are for one game, maybe two.
Yep.
If it's for, you need peripherals that work with multiple games. But if you have that, isn't that the controller for the console?
True.
Right.
Yeah.
Give that controller to any Arma 3 player, they will have a hard-on for years.
Good old Arma 3.
Because coming from somebody who wants to play Arma but doesn't have the gear for it, I want that to be able to fly in Arma.
It looks cool. It really does look cool, but once again, it's just, is it necessary? I really don't think so. It looks massive, but then I remember all these things growing up, all these cool little peripherals, like that just the regular Nintendo had. The NES, not the SNES, but the NES had. Like this octagon thing that you had to like kick to move forward and kick the other way to push A.
Oh,
it was
God.
just dumb. It didn't work. No, that was the SNES that had that one, if I remember correctly. But the NES had it had like the motion thing where you had to move your hand at the sensor. And I'm not talking about the power glove. I'm talking like this. It had two black screens, and you had to move your hand up to like kick left, which if you just took the fucking controller and pushed the button, it would work just as fine. It seems like peripherals always had this problem where they couldn't see the forest for the trees. They overthought what was going to be happening with this one little stupid thing.
Yeah. I mean, at work, the most peripherals we sell are usually like steering wheels for racing games.
Right. Those are pretty much the only ones. That and light guns are the only ones that kind of work.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got, the shit ton of peripherals the fucking we had, like the fucking tennis racket and all the sports shit.
Oh,
I've never sold any of those.
Well, that's okay. That's actually a different kind of thing, like, because for the Wii controllers, it was like a peripheral.
Yeah,
it was like
controller attachment.
Yeah, which what? Why would you make an attachment to my controller? I imagine like a grandparent buying that thing for their grandkids.
Well,
like, oh, here you go, little Billy.
Now that you brought that up, actually, that's exactly what happened.
Like, how do you know you're playing golf if you don't have the golf peripheral for your Wiimote?
That's exactly what happened. I was like, gee, thanks, Grandma. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with this piece of shit? I'm never going to use it. You know, it's just
You could always throw it in the wall and blame it at the dog.
It's always the worst as
Shut
well
up.
when you get the you get the peripheral and you don't have a game for it.
Well, especially when the company doesn't even really make games for it. Like the NES, the one that always comes to my mind is Robbie the Robot.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That fucking thing.
It came with it. You had to have like space to set it up in front of your your TV, you know. And it came with one game. And then they made another game within, you know, a relatively recent time when it was launched.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. It had like 2 games.
I'm trying to remember which 2. I think those are the only 2 it worked with. I think they tried to get it to work with other things, but that was really about it.
All I remember from Robbie the Robot was videos of it moving what looked like checker pieces. And I don't know what game that was for, but
Stackers.
It just seemed like the most ridiculous thing ever.
That was Stack Up.
Stack Up!
Yeah. And the idea behind it was, now you have a second player all the time, but you always have a second player all the time because it's called in-game AI, which still sucks to this day.
Guys.
How lonely do you have to be for your parents to buy that for you?
Well.
Hey, Stacy.
I was about to say me. What?
Well, I wasn't going there, but sure. I was going to say, Stacy has a second player all the time. It's called his other hand.
Oh, shut up. Here's the thing, though, guys. There was a third game released for this. It was not just Gyromite and Stack Up. Do you want to know what it was?
Sure.
In 2014, independent homebrew game developer RetroZone produced a limited release NES cartridge titled 8-Bit Xmas 2015. The title screen featured Rob character graphics, interactions with the vintage Rob toy to make it dance to Christmas music.
Wow.
Oh god.
That's
Right?
actually more useful than the games it came with.
Right? Dude, right? Like, why? Why do game companies think these things are good? Why?
Well,
Side note, that was a really good Michael Jackson impression.
I think
damn
that the problem with peripherals is that you get either a game company or a console maker, like a game developer, not one that makes consoles, or you get the console maker. They have this idea,
Mm-hmm.
and at some point along the way, nobody stops them.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Like, that's the only reason I can think of that a lot of these things get made, is nobody looks and says, but don't we already kind of have that? Shouldn't we not make this?
Can it
Shut
get
up, we want
made,
money!
or should it get made?
Right.
There you go.
All right, I want to do a really awkward transition, which is, I'm really great. And now for something
Considering you just
completely
broke
different.
The fourth wall.
Well,
Shall I start calling you Deadpool?
hi, how's it going? Does anybody have a burrito? No, I'm sorry. Anyway, okay. Steam. We all know and love Steam. Steam has some great fucking games, right? And it has some great fucking, it's great for getting games. It's wonderful for things like that. But have any of us here ever watched a movie on Steam? Or did you even fucking know Steam had movies?
I did not.
I didn't know Steam had music up until about
Wait, what?
6 months ago.
Steam
They
has
have music?
Yeah, it's soundtracks to the games.
Oh, that's different. Okay.
Okay, so the first time I discovered Steam had movies was when Mad Max Fury Road and the game Mad Max came out, which, by the way, don't really have much to do with each other than Mad Max the game is actually really fun. But when I saw they were doing a package deal, like, get Mad Max, I was thinking it was DLC or something, and I was like, wait, this is the movie. They're selling movies? Why?
Yeah. And that's the thing. When I think of a movie, I don't think of Steam. I never have, probably never will. It just doesn't click to me, because when I go to use Steam, I go to, do this weird thing called fucking game.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the music, when it comes to soundtracks for games, that makes sense to me. I totally understand that's a logical fucking connection. But streaming movies off of Steam, what?
It's just like when a company does one thing for so long and then they start branching out to other things, it just feels weird and wrong.
I don't know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's more than that. I think in this case, I get why they're doing it. I mean, they want to make more money.
Yeah, of course.
Duh.
Yeah.
But, there's already at least 3 services that I can think of right off the top of my head, which is Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix, that are already doing it. They've been doing it longer, and they're doing it well.
They're dominating, for Christ's sake.
Can I also point out that streaming off of Steam servers are going to make the servers 10 times more shitty than they already are?
I forgot they do streaming now, too.
Right,
yeah,
that's what it is. It's only streaming. They don't have an option to download it. They don't have, you buy it, but you have to have Steam. You have to stream it. It's like kind of a broken system, and it makes me wonder why they even tried,
Are you talking about streaming as in video game streaming, or are you talking about the video streaming aspect?
No, I'm talking about their video streaming. In order to watch a movie, you have to be online. You have to stream the video.
Well,
they don't have a download option.
I meant Undead, actually.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good, man.
Say it again, sorry?
Were you talking about the video game streaming or the movie streaming?
Both.
I say because when I found out that they do streaming for video games, I was like, and then I heard about the movies, and I was just kind of stopping, going guys, do you realize you're trying to do too many things at once? You know what I mean? Doesn't it feel like that to you guys too? It feels like they're trying to do too much at once, and that they're.
It feels to me like they're. And this has kind of always been true, with the one exception that they kind of got there first when it comes to the whole social gaming, come to Steam to get your games. They kind of got there first, and they've kind of become the biggest name in that regard for PCs. But it feels like everything else they've tried has been oh, this has been successful for 5 years. Let's try our own version, and not be really very good at it.
Yeah.
So it's like DC with Marvel.
Yeah, kind of.
God damn it. The thing is, I love Steam with all my heart. I think Steam is a fucking awesome service. That's why I'm when I bitch about it, it's not because I'm how dare they do it. It's please don't put your fingers in too many pots at once, because I don't want you guys to fail. I love you guys too much. Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thought with gaming peripherals. Don't do this. I don't want your company to go tits up because I like your company. Stop. Just fucking stop.
Guitar Hero, we're looking at you.
I remember when that first came out, I thought it was so cool. And then I bought it. And then I played it for 2 weeks. I went, why the fuck did I buy this piece of shit?
Right.
I think that's the reaction to everyone that buys peripherals.
I actually enjoyed Guitar Hero 3 on the Wii.
Really?
But,
on the Wii?
Yeah.
There was a Guitar Hero on. How the fuck did.
Yeah, you put the Wii remote in there.
You put the Wii remote in the guitar itself?
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that.
But
it's not
a peripheral for a fucking peripheral.
No, it is actually different. It's got both its own controls, and you have the Wii for the motion sensing and stuff. So you stick your Wii remote into the Guitar Hero for it, and it's got its own thing. It was a really weird like concept idea that kind of failed like everything else.
I love that Robbie started giggling as soon as you said stick it in. You perverted fuck, Robbie. Sorry about that.
No, you're not.
I am, man. I fucking am, okay?
Stop lying, damn it.
Fuck you guys. All right. Since we're on games, sort of, because of Steam, we'll pretend it, okay? I'm going to get to something I know Casuals wanted to get to for a long time. It's been burning a fucking hole in his head for a long time, right? Shadow of fucking Mordor and the upcoming sequel. Casual.
Even Mordor.
Okay,
Even Mordor. God damn it.
I'm going to go ahead and say that you're the one that has that on his mind more than anything else. Because you're wrong.
I think you're terribly wrong. Because everybody I've talked to besides you has, well, not everybody, but the good majority of people I've talked to besides you has had the same opinion of me. And I don't understand how it's getting a sequel, but you think it's fucking amazing. You think it's awesome. I think it was garbage. At first, I didn't think so, though. Go ahead.
Before you guys get started, I will say to all the listeners, get your popcorn, settle in.
Here it goes.
Round one.
I'm
Fight.
I'm kind of in the middle of Shadow of Mordor because personally, I don't think it was a good game, but they had a good plot to it.
Okay,
Absolutely,
so
yes.
that's what I was going to actually say. Is there are things that make it good. I do think it was a good game. It was a ripoff of Assassin's Creed, first of all. But that doesn't make it a bad game. Now, my opinion, and we'll get to why Stacy hates it after I rant for a little bit.
Oh, you get to go first, huh? I see how it is. Okay, thanks. Wow. I'll just sit back here and play with my balls for a while. Jeez.
I'll be the mediator here.
So nothing's changed.
Pretty much.
So basically, like Undead was saying, the plot is amazing. Like, when I first heard of Shadow of Mordor, I was like, oh my god, another cash-in. But then I played it, and I thought to myself...
I really hope to Christ you actually sounded like that in the store when you looked at the case. Like, well, fuck you.
What's a store?
I hate you so much.
Anyway, so... Well, we did just come off the Steam topic.
I know.
So, when I played it, what I found more remarkable than the gameplay, which is, again, it's pretty derivative gameplay. It's the typical Assassin's Creed stealth and, don't get caught, and if you do, run away, and combos, blah, blah, blah. But I found the plot to be remarkable because all I could think as I was playing through it was, I want this movie. Like, I want to see this, just take it straight out of this game and put it on the screen. I want the next Lord of the Rings movie to be this. It was that good in my opinion. But the other thing that I will say that is amazing about the game is if you get into it, it makes you feel like you're in the Lord of the Rings. And I'm not talking about the plot. I'm talking about going out and killing the orcs. You just start getting involved and feeling like, yes, kill the orcs, get rid of the evil ones. But
kill the evil ones.
Better than all of that is the Nemesis system. I want the Nemesis system added to so many games. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a thing that they added where basically if there's bosses and there's mini-bosses like any game.
Mm-hmm.
If you kill a boss, then the rest of the mini-bosses and the bosses around them sort of get depowered. If you don't kill the boss, if it kills you, it gains power, and you basically have a greater challenge the next time you encounter it. I mean, how it adds a replay value to the game that more games could use. That's
I'll give you that, absolutely. Okay, here's the thing with me. This is why at first I loved the game. Because for the first time ever, I actually enjoyed a Lord of the Rings story. Normally, I can't stand The Hobbit. I did not enjoy Lord of the Rings, neither the book nor the movies. I just did not get into them. It just wasn't my thing. That's all. It's not that they're badly written or that they're bad movies or badly acted by any means. Nothing like that. It's just, it wasn't my thing. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're
It's just type of fantasy.
What was that, Undead?
I was just gonna say it's just Stacy being a opinionated fuck.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But it takes me a lot to really get into fantasy. Usually I'm just like, it's just not my thing. But this story, I was like, wow, this is actually fun, because the reason why video game movies don't succeed. I was playing the part of the character, so I was involved. It was fun because I was part of it. I was basically driving the story along. I was the story. That made it fun. Where when I watch it on a big screen, I'm like, this is just being told to me. I don't enjoy it as much. You know what I mean? And like the gameplay was a lot of fun, because like you said, it was like the whole parkour thought where you had to drop down on them, shoot them from afar, do the stealth stuff. I love stealth stuff. That is just fucking stealth stuff is so much fun to me. I just get a kick out of it.
Not counting Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid was great. I love the stealth aspect. I did not enjoy sitting there watching pixelated faces move for 15 minutes straight, where it was just the jaws moving. That's it, and that's barely moving. That drove me to fucking boredom tears. It was bad. But, that was so much fun. But the thing was, I was like, God, this is fun. And by the end of the first level, I was like, oh, this is fun. I can't wait to see what they come up with next. And then you go to the next fucking level, and what do you get? More fucking stealth. More of the same. They didn't evolve this gameplay at all. It was just the same fucking game the whole fucking way through. There was no, I guess, technically introduced new gadgets, sort of, but it was still the same thought of a gadget. Nothing really evolved, and I think that's what bothered me, because it was just the same shit over and over and over again. That's why I got so bored by it. You know what I mean?
I would say that's generally a consensus on a lot of games, and one of the critiques you see a lot is, it was just the same thing over and over again. I actually like that in a game. Like when I go to play a game and it has a particular mechanic, that's what I want out of my game. I mean, I would love a game that has everything. Mm-hmm. That's my dream game.
Yeah.
But if you're going to give me a game and it's only going to have a few things to do, then hopefully that thing is fun, and I'm okay with it until we finally get the one game that has everything in it. Then I'm going to play that game forever.
Well, that's the funny thing, is I love the Arkham series. I absolutely loved it. Well, with the exception for Knight. Even Origins was better than Knight, and that says a lot. Just because you're forced into a Batmobile nonstop. But even that was basically the same kind of concept, but at least the game evolved and you started to do different things as the game went along, and they kind of combined everything into one by the end of it, where you had to do all the things at once. That made it fun because it was evolving different gameplay and you had to do different mechanics. That was fun. And by the way, the Nemesis thought process, fucking awesome. I love that. The fact that if you're really good at the game, you're going to kill everything off and get all of them. And then eventually, oh, look, it's magically refilled again. So the bosses kind of never stopped. I like that there was always a challenge. The game was always better than you at some point, so you always had to work hard and you had to challenge yourself. And I enjoyed that a lot, but it's just...
So Isaac.
Pretty much, I wouldn't say Isaac evolves, though, by any means. Isaac stays at one level, where this game actually evolved with your gameplay to get better than you. And I love that. Same kind of thought why Spore was supposed to be good. It was always something better than you, but then Spore just, then they took it away from the guy that created, what's his name? Sims creator, Spore creator, whatever his name is. Took away from him, fired him, and just put out a turd that is Spore. But, it's just, the game had so much potential. But when I started the second level and realized I was doing the same, more or less the same exact missions, just in a different place, I got really bored really fast and ended up quitting the game, which sucks because it was so good, and I was like enjoying the story, but the story wasn't good enough to keep me, and that's what was sad. Yeah, I mean, Because, like I said, the story was fantastic, but just not good enough.
I will also say you might be glad you didn't continue playing to the end, because they built up all of this boss stuff in Shadows of Mordor, and then the final fight is a quick time event.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. Like they give you all these powers, and you build yourself up, and you build yourself up, and they build up the villain. And from a story perspective, like you said, great. I mean, amazing build-up.
Yeah.
And then when you fight the final boss, it's like a quick time event that just, it's so bad. It's like they ran out of money and were like, oh, right, end boss. Press X at the right time.
Why would they do that? Now I'm pissed. And I didn't even finish the fucking game, man. I mostly dedicated so much time into this. I'm pissed, man. Why?
But I will also say, though, that I'm more excited for the sequel coming out, because they're going out of Mordor. Like, it's not even called Shadows of Mordor anymore. It's called Shadow of Middle-earth. Okay. Now, they haven't said exactly where they're going, but they have indicated that they're definitely going to Gondor, which was the city that was destroyed in the Lord of the Rings movies, for those that don't know. They might be going to Minas Tirith, which I got to be honest, as a Lord of the Rings nerd, I'm excited just to go to those places in the Shadows of Mordor, like, gameplay environment. You know, I want to explore them.
Go to Hobbiton. Murder some hobbits.
You know,
that'd be awesome.
This actually brings up a good question. This isn't the first time in a movie, in a game where they kind of just fucked up the end of a game, where you get to the end boss, which is hyped up, and it just turns out to be this turd of a boss. Why is it so many games do that? Where have video games companies failed to realize and to remember what made it fun to be a gamer and to play the end boss that you hyped up so much?
I mean, I don't know. I tend to find a lot of endings of games kind of subpar nowadays.
I mean, some of the best examples I can give is what the fuck is that game with Jack Black? The metal game.
Brutal Legend.
Brutal Legends. Brutal Legends was a great example where, once again, they just kept repeating the same shit over and over and over again. But the story was cool. It hyped it up. And when you got to the end boss, you're like, this is it? You know, this is such a cop-out. And then also...
I honestly don't even remember the end boss for that game, and I played it.
Enough said. Fucking enough said. You know, it's a forgettable end boss, and they hyped up the end boss so much, and you just kind of got, by the end of it, you're like, that was it? It's sad. It's so sad. And also another one was Arkham Asylum. One of my favorite games in the entire world. Hyped up this boss fight. You were going to go fight the Joker. The fucking Joker. And by the end of it, you get there and, oh, wait, I'm going to fight a steroid-ridden freak that just has a Joker face on it. That's it. What? And you really don't even fight him. You just, fight a whole bunch of his droogies, and by the end of it, you shoot him with
quick time event.
Right? Fucking right? It's just pathetic. It's sad. It's disgusting. Like,
to be perfectly fair, the Joker could not take Batman in a straight-up fist fight. That's why they never do that.
I disagree. From a video game perspective, the Joker has literal tricks up his sleeve.
Yep.
Yeah.
You did not have to make him Bane with a Joker face.
Exactly. Like, the first time I played it, I was like, oh, okay. But I was amped up. I was ripped up with excitement to kick Joker's ass, and I kicked his ass, and cool. Then I got to see the end of the game. I got to see Bane grab onto the whole, the Titan thing, blah, 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 blah. I was like, this is so cool. And then the excitement of the game wore off. I just kind of stopped and went, wait, what the hell did I just fight?
Don't you hate that in a game when you think it's so good, and then you stop and think and go, wait a minute.
Right, dude? Right? I was just like, what the fuck is this? It's disappointing what's been happening. Yeah, I mean, maybe I've just grown tired because I've played so many games that I just expect too much from companies. And maybe all along, all of these boss fights have always been shit. You know what I mean? And it's always been overhyped.
I don't think they have been. I think they're used to... I think there have been plenty of good, boss fights and stuff. I think that it just depends on the game makers. I think they run out of money, patience, time, and all sorts of other things nowadays, and they just say, just throw it in there at the end.
Well, okay, when you say people run out of time, this makes me think of another subject which is fucking huge on Twitch in the streaming community. If you stream this one particular game series, which is called The Witcher. The fucking sex scenes. One, why? Okay, I found an article that says, good video game sex scenes are hard to make. One, why is it hard to make a sex scene? Two, why is it so fucking important for the sex scene? Last I knew, we lived in, 2017 now? It's not that hard to find something to tug your dick to. Yeah, I mean? Do you have a cell phone? Yes. Just go on the fucking internet. Do you not have a cell phone? No. Go to your fucking PlayStation 4. They have a browser. Go find something to tug your dick to. It's not hard. You can go to the fucking library. There's been enough people busted for jerking at library. Obviously, I'm not suggesting this, but you catch what I'm trying to say here. Jesus H. Christ. Yeah, I mean? Do video game companies run out of money before they have time to make the awesome sex scene, or are they just lazy? Is it the same type of thing as a boss fight?
I mean, I could make it a joke that those video game making nerds don't know how to have sex.
That's probably terribly accurate, but
No,
I was also thinking, like, why do we need this? I mean, I hate to be that guy, but is it important to the plot? Because, I doubt it. Like, every time I think of a game that has a sex scene in it, it's always been, like, just to create controversy.
Casual, me and you are in the same exact boat on this one.
And there are kind of exceptions, and that would be the heavy quotes romance simulator games.
The whole game is based around the sex, and that's it.
Yeah, that would be the exception. But also,
the whole game's based around getting to the sex.
Yeah, but also the BioWare games, the what do you call it, Dragon Age and
Mass Effect.
Those are kind of in that same vein. At least they have great action too.
See, I've never played any of the Mass Effect. They never looked interesting to me, so I can't comment on that one. I've never seen it.
It's a joke about those games.
But I've seen plenty of it. How about that?
Half the plot is revolving around you making relationships with the characters in the game.
I was about to say, I've seen 1.5 million memes about it, but I've never played it,
But I just think that maybe, I don't know, maybe like Robbie said, they're nerds. They don't know how to do it.
The thing is like, it was brought up. I've heard it plenty of times of, well, it's important to the plot. Well, it's not. Me and Robbie, me and Casual both seem to agree that it's really never important to the plot. But two, it's not interactive. Where's the fun in it? You just get to watch the sex. There's only one time I can think of where it was truly interactive, and that was the infamous hot coffee from San Andreas. And that wasn't even supposed to be in there. That was taken out, but it was just kind of kept in there by accident. Otherwise, there's really, where is it? Tell me one other game besides, like, I guess Leisure Suit Larry, which I've never played. I've just heard the memes. Or, like the dating sims that you're talking about where you actually do anything, thrusting-wise that you actually participate in. Is there another one out there that I'm just not thinking of?
I honestly don't know because I don't play those kinds of games.
Well, neither do I, but you catch on. Can anybody think of this? The silence is deafening. I guess not. I just, if you could control it and it, had something to do with the actual plot, like you're playing Final Fantasy X and Seymour and Yuna are supposed to get married and, to save the universe, she has to, copulate or something like that. That's one thing. I could honestly see that a little bit. Yeah, I mean, they have to have a baby to stop the war from happening or some stupid shit. And they have to show the sex and you control it somehow or some dumb shit. Or it shows how little she's enjoying it. So it shows it furthers the plot. That's something. But when it's just like, did you know you can fuck on top of a unicorn in this one? What does that have to do with anything? How does that further the plot? That unicorns exist in this game? I mean...
One of these days you're going to play a game and it's going to have a sex scene and it's going to have a crucial moment in that sex scene that's incredibly important to the plot.
And you'll have push skip and you'll miss it and then you'll get to the end and be like, wait a minute, what am I missing? So
it'll be like Metal Gear Solid when you start falling asleep in the middle of a 15-minute pixelated cutscene where they just move the mouth and that's it?
I'm not going to argue against Metal Gear Solid. I like to make the jokes, and poke at it, but I'm not going to argue it because I agree. I actually skipped every cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 2, and then I went back and replayed it to gather the plot and got bored.
How could you play it without...
Metal Gear Solid was a game? Oh, I thought it was a movie.
And I believe Metal Gear Solid 4 has the record for most, like, overall longest amount of cutscene. Like, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 hours or something, or more than that. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Metal Gear Solid 4 was on Blu-ray. They had to cut content because they were running out of memory space.
On a Blu-ray.
Jesus Christ.
For video. Not cut content for gameplay, but because of the video, they ran out of space.
And also there's a challenge in that game. You can get stuff called emblems for like doing certain things. The hardest one to get is called the Big Boss emblem. You beat the game, I believe, in under 4 hours. That includes the unskippable 17-minute ending cutscene.
Rewind, please. Rad, how long of a cutscene?
17-minute long ending cutscene, unskippable.
Why? Why? What? Why? Fuck this. I'm done. Fuck. Why? Why?
Good job.
Good shit, I'm out.
So you really have 3 hours and 43 minutes to beat the game.
And it actually, here's the best part, though. It actually doesn't take that long. Like, the big boss, it doesn't take that long to beat the game. You can do it without speed running. Like, just kind of going through at a rapid pace, but not like at a speedrunner's, I have to find the optimal route. You can beat it in about 2.5 hours.
Dear God.
But the game itself takes about 20 to 40 hours if you're watching all the cutscenes.
This is the thing. Okay. Cutscenes can be fucking awesome. They're amazing. I mean, cutscenes can be some of the greatest shit on earth when it comes to things you just either A, the console's not capable of doing if you're controlling it, or B, it's just something that really needs to happen a certain set way, and you just can't let the player do it.
Aerith or Aerith.
Exactly. That was, oh my God, that cutscene made me cry. That was a perfect example. Final Fantasy VII, the cutscene of Aerith dying, being stabbed by Sephiroth. And by the way, spoiler
alert.
But that was perfect. Fucking perfect use of a cutscene. Or like when the reactor was exploding, perfect use of a cutscene. But go ahead.
I was going to say you've brought this up on your stream before, and there's a difference between the way Metal Gear Solid does its cutscenes and the way that Final Fantasy does its cutscenes, and there's a difference in the games. When you're playing a stealth action espionage game, it literally says that at the bottom. Stealth or action stealth, I don't remember. Whatever the order is. Action is a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get stopped, and you just kind of twiddle your thumbs for 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time, just waiting to continue on.
Yeah.
Whereas Final Fantasy, it's not really about the action. It's about exploring the story,
Very true. Very true. But it's just, here's my main thing is this. Like, when it comes to the 17-minute long cutscene, how much of that could the player have done and, like, been a part of the scene, and they could have felt a part of it instead of just watching the movie, like they'd had to walk over and do something or some shit. Even if it's minute, how much of it could they actually been part of instead of just having it be a movie?
Would you prefer Kingdom Hearts, where cutscene, you walk forward 10 steps, another cutscene?
The thing is, though, in all those cutscenes,
all over again.
I would say 75% of the cutscenes in Kingdom Hearts could have been the player doing it themselves and just had the voice acting happening. It would have worked just fine. But instead, they just chose to put a cutscene there just for the sake of putting a cutscene there, and that's where cutscenes fail. You know what I mean? When they're too numerous, one, and two, when they're just monotonous crap. A cutscene can be incredibly powerful and important, so it's not monotonous, but just they're too much. Or it can be monotonous crap where it's just there for the sake of being there, and you kind of stop and go, it's like a confused boner. You see, you see someone naked, and you're like, God, that got me aroused, but it's my sister, and I probably shouldn't be hot about this. That's what I'm trying to say here, right? Nobody? Okay, sounds good. I guess I'm the only person. Obviously, I'm being facetious here, and I'm trying to I'm trying to get the point across. It's just the games don't. Game producers are fucking idiots sometimes, I guess is the point I'm trying to get across here. I don't think they listen enough. That's honestly what I think it is, because, if they would listen to the streamers, if they would listen to the content the content users about what they want from their content, I think that'd be one thing it is. But I honestly don't think they listen to the end user when they go to develop it. I don't think they give a shit. I think they just want to say, this is what big company A wants. This is what Squeenix wants. This is what Squeenix going to do. Who gives a fuck what the end user wants? Yeah, I mean, do you think they give a shit?
Let's be fair. Most game developers are less than human.
Well,
I would also point out that Squeenix in specific has this weird track record of, for example, when they came out with Final Fantasy XIV, which should have been called Final Fantasy Online 2.
Yeah.
It was like the developers of Final Fantasy XIV. It has changed since. They literally had to change it because people hated it so much. But when it first came out, it was like the developers had been living in a box since Final Fantasy XI came out.
Yeah.
And they hadn't looked at anything that had been done in the MMO market for all the years that led up to Final Fantasy XIV. And they basically just put out Final Fantasy XI Part 2. And it fell flat, and they had to completely retool it. They spent many, many millions of dollars to do it. They came out with Final Fantasy XIV Reborn.
A Realm Reborn. Oh,
yeah. And it's like you said, developers are stupid.
Yeah, I played the original one before Realm Reborn came out, and I just like, this is shit. This is shit. And I played Realm Reborn. I was like, hey, wow, you guys have ears? You know how to fucking read forums, motherfucker? This is good. This is so much better. That's one of the few cases.
Casual. I wasn't saying they were stupid. I was just saying they were less than human.
Well, I agree with that too. I'm just saying that sometimes they listen. Case in point, the Far Cry franchise. It just basically keeps getting better. But most of the time, they kind of just, they're going to do what they're going to do.
I have to say, Far Cry, after playing Far Cry Primal, I want to play 3 and 4 so fucking bad now. Oh my god. I can't wait. I cannot wait, man. And also Blood Dragon, too. But
start with Blood Dragon.
That's what I was going to... Remember, you suggested I'm going to do that.
I still suggest you pop a couple of hits of acid before you play Blood Dragon.
God damn. Yeah, just what we need. Stacy fucking tripping balls on stream. That's a great idea. Thank you, Undead.
Since certain developers, publishers, some listen to their fan base, does that also include listening to big streamers? And are they influential to developers and publishers.
My question to you is this. Are you talking about the streamers who are paid by the companies to play it, or do you mean an actual, true, honest opinion?
Well, I mean, I know where you're going with that, but does it matter? Like, because it's not just the streamer that is playing the game that is, being influential, if they are. It's the people watching the stream. It's the chat that's saying, wow, this game looks awesome, or wow, this game looks like a piece of crap.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think they do. I don't think they give a shit about big name streamers or streamers in general. We're not going to say big name, small name, whatever. I don't think they give a flying fuck because they're hidden in their own little world. Even the ones that they pay to play their games, which, generally give a good review because they're idiots and they just want, like, oh, give me the money. Yes, I'll suck it. I'll cup the balls. Give me the money. You fucking shut the fuck up and give a real review, you cunt. But I truly don't believe these companies give a flying fuck because we have the same shit happening over and over and over again. Yeah, I mean,
well,
go ahead.
I mean, I agree. Like, I don't think the big developers care. Mm-hmm. Like, they're going to make their games. They're going to make their money. There's a reason that EA, despite how horrible everybody knows it is, continues to make games and make money because people keep buying it. So they don't care. But I really do believe, at least in the smaller market, like in the indie market, that game developers really do care and listen.
Okay, that's a huge difference. You know what? We should have prefaced that from the very beginning. We're talking about big game companies, not indies. Indies, my God, they love their viewer base and their user base, and they want to know what they say. Well, okay, most.
For example, Undertale. I know you don't think it's a very good game. I think it's overhyped. But when Undertale came out, and I think they're making a sequel, they went to literally every stream that was playing Undertale, and they got feedback, and they're basically basing a lot of what they're doing in the sequel on the streams. Another great case in point, Shovel Knight. Mm-hmm. Extremely popular game, very fun for speed runs. They are making the new content for Shovel Knight based on the streamers, like based on what the speedrunning community is saying and what the people are enjoying about it and stuff.
Another great example, Edmund from Super Meat Boy and Isaac.
Binding of Isaac.
Another great example. He's listening to his community. He gives a shit. He's known for going into streams all the time. Sometimes lurking, sometimes being vocal, and just seeing what people say about his games and what they enjoy about his games. Another one would be Soulgrin from I Want to Be the Boshi. And also I Want to Be the Guy and all that shit. Yeah, I mean...
let's go with his actual game, Wings of V.
Well, I Want to Be the Boshi was also his actual game, which is another one where he would go in and see streamers and add content to the games because of it.
But I'm saying the one that he makes money off of.
True. Okay, true. You won that one.
I mean, he basically, when he made Wings of V, he basically used a lot of the feedback from I Want to Be the Guy and I Want to Be the Boshi to make a game that was so motherfucking hard that people were like, oh my God, I didn't know a real game like this could exist.
I was getting ready to play that game until I watched this one guy from Australia. He spent, I want to say, like 2.5, 3 weeks on just the end boss straight. And he was doing daily streams for 8 hours a day. And I was like, you know what? I will break my computer if I try to play this shit, so I'm done. I'm not fucking with this, man. I can't do this today, man. Not in this fucking lifetime,
But do you think if the big developers actually paid attention to the streams, would it change anything? Or would they just say, well, that's nice and all, but middle finger?
I think it would be the same exact thought process as Blizzard looking at their fan base going, you don't know what you want, we know what you want, with World of Warcraft.
They do that, though.
Kind of true, though.
That's exactly what. No, that's exactly what they said. That's the exact quote. Is listen, our viewer base doesn't, our player base doesn't know what they want. We know what they want. We're going to put the content that we know they want. when it came to the servers. For the what the hell was it called? The nostalgic server.
Legacy servers.
Legacy servers. Thank you. You know, because the fucking fan base is going, we want this. We want to play this version of WoW forever. We like this version. And which I can understand why Blizz said, fuck you. No.
Well, to be fair, that's kind of two different subjects too. Like, one is, you know, they're the legacy servers, but the other one is they're kind of right. When I was playing WoW big back in the day, I would visit the forums all the time. And literally you would have discussions that would turn into arguments that would turn into just flaming, you know, everybody's Hitler about, this needs to change in this way. And somebody would say, no, this needs to change in this way. And somebody else would say, the fan base basically wants everything. And at the end of the day, they can't have it because you can't have both the nerf and the buff. You know, you have to pick one.
Exactly.
Screw you, yes I can.
Well, there's a difference, though. It's when you kind of ignore shit like that, but you talk to the majority of people when you hear a mass majority saying this, what in the hell were you thinking with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it kind of turns into white noise depending on the size of the game.
True.
Wait, Stacy.
Yes.
Going off what you just said there, like literally 2 seconds ago, I can't remember what you said. But basically the same thing I ask myself every time I'm in your stream.
Okay, how does this... What?
Never mind.
What?
There it is, I'm sure it was funny.
I was about to say, I'm lost on this one too. All right. No, but like, imagine. Okay, who the fuck puts out the Call of Duty games?
EA.
EA. Okay. Imagine EA actually came into a stream of a Call of Duty player going and listened to what the community said. Would they change it and stop making the same fucking game over and over and over again, or would they be like, well, see, you know, these guys are idiots. They don't know what they want. We keep selling these games just to spite it. We're not going to change it.
Well, the big issue with that, you cannot let the vocal minority dictate where your game goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is true.
Because the vocal minority could say, Death Knights are overpowered, you need to nerf them.
Yo. Well, are we...
I was going to say, the Death Knights were...
I love the fact you can go through a dungeon and just have the Death Knight go ahead, like, hey, we'll catch up eventually, and have him clear the entire thing. Like, oh, cool, loot, well, thanks. You know,
Yeah, it's just, you know, people will complain about something that's really not an issue. I don't play WoW, so I don't really know. Death Knight's just the one I remember. But they'll complain about, you know, not really a major issue. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like game breaking or anything like that. But they'll complain about it. It'll get nerfed or buffed or something, and then suddenly it's like hilariously overpowered. Or it's like, why do you even use that?
Old school example before the Death Knight, and in the beginning, the Death Knight was OP. They balanced it since then, but Shaman. Shaman was always considered too powerful or too underpowered by everybody. Like, everybody had the opinion. It was either nerf or buff. It never really was, though. Like, I played a Shaman. They were fine, but they were not overpowered. But again, it goes back to that vocal minority is you have people screaming at the top of their lungs, you know, oh, this is just... And at the end of the day, I hate to say it because I hate this opinion. Get good, nerd.
I would say with the Shamans, though, since I'm a fellow WoW nerd, Shaman DPS in the beginning, like they did not scale well. That's my issue. They were kind of the very early to mid game. They were fucking amazing DPS, but end game, you're just like, there's a Shaman in our group. Where, you know, healing, I would say is the exact opposite. Where, late game and early game, they're garbage healers, but mid game, they're fucking awesome healers. At least that was my personal experience with Shamans. I only played a couple. I rolled a Shaman like twice, and I was just like, not my playstyle, you know. But they just were not well balanced, as in the curve of the game. They did not pan out very well. They were just really good for certain parts. You know what I mean?
But again, it goes back to the topic that, you know, sometimes the people that are complaining, they're just complaining.
I completely agree. And that's a great point of should they listen to their viewer base, their user base, or should they just say fuck it and just go with it? And they, quote unquote, they're the masters, they know what we want.
At the end of the day, I think the worst part is the only answer is sometimes.
That's a great unanswer. Thank you. Robbie, I know this is something that you brought up earlier and you wanted to talk about. I don't know shit about it because I never bothered watching the last Star Wars. But apparently with the new one coming out, there's some controversy?
Yeah, basically what it is, there's a character named, because Stacey hasn't seen it, there's a character named Kylo Ren. He is more or less the main antagonist of the first film.
He's the new Darth Vader.
Yeah, basically. He's modeled himself a lot after Darth Vader, being his grandson and everything. But at the end of the movie, the climactic fight between the main good character and the bad character, he gets slashed with a lightsaber across his face, and it leaves quite a significant scar.
Okay.
In the trailer of the newest Star Wars, which is coming out this year, the scar has moved to a classic across the eye scar rather than the center of his face. And it has sent the internet into a shitstorm of debate.
Okay, first off, why would a fucking movie company as big as the one doing Star Wars make a fuck up that big? And two, was it a fuck up or was it on purpose? Because
it was entirely on purpose.
Why? Why would you do that?
The director of the new Star Wars thought it looked cooler across the eye.
Okay, so
it is a different director than the previous Star Wars movie.
Oh God! I fucking hate people.
In a franchise where continuity is God,
yeah,
this was a very bad decision on their part.
Yeah,
like you just it's like. You just don't do that. You don't say, oh, well, we had it this way, now we're going to do it this way. It's like having a protagonist that has a blue car for their entire, first season, and the car is important. Next season, it's a red car.
Because it looks nicer. You know?
So it goes from Black Knight Rider to Rainbow Knight Rider.
But while I do
I'm the
agree
Knight
that
Rider.
Wow.
Ride me tonight.
While I do agree that the decision was poor on the part of the studio. So, again, this is one of those cases where somebody should have come in and said, let's rethink that.
Yeah.
The fact is that the fandom, and this doesn't just go for Star Wars, this is any fandom, is losing their minds over this, and all I can do is kind of laugh and say, is it really that important?
Not really, but it's just when you watch a movie, you want to see the story continue exactly as the story is supposed to continue. When you fuck up something as simple as that, it breaks your... I know we all make fun of this, okay? I get this. But it breaks your immersion into the story. It really does. You know what I mean? Kind of like you're playing a video game series and you love it. And you're like, oh, I can't wait for the second one. The second one comes out and all of a sudden everything's fucking different. And you're like, what the fuck is this? You want to see the story continue. Something, as you point out, it goes from Black Knight Rider to Rainbow Knight Rider. Same exact thing. You know what I mean? You just kind of stop and it makes you kind of goes, what the fuck? I'm in real world again? What the hell is this? You lose your immersion in the story. You know what I mean?
One of the funniest tweets I've seen regarding this whole thing is someone saying, whoever directs Episode 9 of Star Wars needs to move Kylo Ren's scar to a different place in every scene.
Every fucking... Yes! Every scene it needs to be changed. It absolutely has to be. Oh my God.
That's totally a Mel Brooks thing.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I wish Mel Brooks was still making movies because
dude.
he could have made such a great Spaceballs 2 out of the whole prequel mess and the search for more. I mean, they literally had the title Spaceballs 2, the search for more money.
I would have. Oh, yes. You know, guys, here's my thing with Star Wars. Just like Star Trek, the fandom is nuts, right? Absolutely fucking crazy.
As a fan, I take offense to that, and yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, y'all are fucking nuts on both sides.
I resemble that remark.
Now, how crazy would you guys take your fandom? That's my question to you. How crazy? Would who here is only a Star Wars fan or only a Star Trek fan? God damn you, motorcycle motherfucker! We get it! You have a Harley! Shut the fuck up! I want to not close my window for 30 seconds. Seriously, this guy's like, oh, hey guys, he's podcasting. Fucker. God damn it. Anyway.
The Harley is now a co-host.
Yeah, pretty goddamn. And ladies and gentlemen, the Harley. Thank you. But who here is only a Star Trek or only a Star Wars fan?
I've never seen the point in being one or the other.
Neither have I.
I love them both.
Okay, casual. Rad, are you one or the other?
I much prefer Star Trek to Star Wars. I will watch both, though.
Okay, Undead, will you only watch one or the other?
I'll watch both.
Okay, so, fuck, this is going to make this discussion really difficult. I know a lot of people out there who only love the wars and not the Trek. We've seen a movie about it, that one dumbass Star Wars where he had to go try to find episode 1 on George Lucas's fucking farm or whatever. Some dumb shit, right? Do you guys know which one I'm talking about? The Star fucking fans or whatever?
I think I know the thing you're talking about, but I never watched it.
Really fucking dumb. Really dumb movie. I made it a little ways in, and I was like, oh my God, I can feel my brain cells start to melt. I made it the whole way through, and I was like, oh my God, why did I watch this shit? But, you know, that
So like me earlier with that video that
yes.
Robbie shared.
Yes, we'll talk. We're going to talk about that amazing video in a minute here. But same exact type of thing, you know? There's a fan base. There are people within the fan base who are like deathly loyal, and this exists in bands too. Like I remember when it was Mushroomhead and Slipknot. Those two fan bases were like duking out. Literally, like if you wore a Mushroomhead shirt to a Slipknot show or vice versa, you're getting your ass kicked. It was fucking dumb. Same exact thing happens with Star Wars and Star Trek. Now, would any of you guys ever know somebody who would not fuck somebody because they're a Star Trek fan, or would not date them because they're a Star Trek fan, or vice versa?
That's a little extreme.
I've known people. Now, how about if you were just in the motherfucking movie? Sorry if you just heard that microphone pod down. The goddamn asshole's back with the motorcycle. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. I guess I have to sit here and sweat in my studio. But I've known people like this. Now, you're in the movie Star Wars. Would you believe you could not get a date because you were in Star Wars?
No, that's like, yeah, it should be like a puss.
John Boyega, I believe his name is pronounced.
John Boyega.
Boyega, thank you very much. Legit, he was chatting up with some chick, and he got turned down because he was like, hey, I'm in Star Wars. LOL, no thanks, legs closed, I'm out of here. You know,
maybe it's just me being a thing like a nerd, but that should be like, that should be like a free pussy card.
I think what happened with that was the official story from him was the date he was on. He was advised by someone who was in like a big franchise movie that if you're going to date, do it before it comes out, so you get more like valid connection, so to speak.
Yeah.
So he did that, and she asked him, what do you do? And they were passing by a Star Wars billboard, and he pointed at it, and it's like that. And it was a picture of him with like a lightsaber. And so the theory is that maybe she left because she thought he had an ego.
Yeah, I can see that.
Apparently it got so bad to the point where he had to block her on his phone.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but as far as You know, you say, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I do acting." And it's like, "Oh, what kind of acting?" Then you can say, "I'm in the new Star Wars." Don't point at a big old billboard with your face on it and say, "Oh yeah, I just, just casually name drop. You're on a billboard."
What I mean, maybe he was excited to be in the movie. You know, maybe it was like, you know, and they got to that point in the conversation. The billboard happened to be there, and he just said, "Oh, perfect opportunity.
Yeah,
I do that." You know,
but being excited still doesn't give you the right to be an asshole about it.
Well, that's true too, but I don't know. I think that taking it to that extreme either way, you know, whether it's, you know, being the fan and be, you know, or not, I don't know. That's where the fandom thing gets out of hand to me.
My favorite part, I went to the comments. The first thing somebody says, "Wait, was she a Trekkie or something?" Oh, you fucking Trekkies won't fuck Star Wars, guys. Guys, I think we've been long-winded enough. Would you agree?
Yes.
Oh, see Undead going, "God damn it, would you just end, Stacy, you asshole?"
No, it's, we've been going so long that I've actually gone through 90% of a Halls bar.
A what?
A Halls tube thing. Halls.
What the hell is that?
It's a cough drop.
Oh, the cough drop! I thought you meant like Hal's. I'm like, what the fuck is a Hal's bar?
Yeah, also, I started with an empty garbage can, and now it is about halfway full with tissues.
Jesus, and I drank an entire pot of coffee, and I'm wanting more. Even though I'm bouncing uncontrollably. I think I should stop, man. Guys, thank you very much for swinging back in and doing a podcast with us again. I should stop thanking you eventually and just telling you guys to get the fuck out of my house, huh? I'm Stacy Kruger. Who are you guys?
I'm Undead.
I'm Robbie.
Rad as usual.
Casually challenged. Han Solo dies.
Oh, dude, Han Solo dies, dude. I'm Stacy Kruger.
Guys.
Once again.
Didn't you know Rad couldn't make it?
Rad couldn't make it, guys. God damn it.
Rosebud is a sled.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I love you guys. Fucking hell. Y'all are amazing. And by the way, in case anybody wants spoilers, Groot gets burnt to death by the raccoon with a flamethrower. No? Nobody? Not funny at all to anybody? Nothing? Am I the only person who hated the tree? Jesus Christ.
User was banned from the channel.
I love you guys. Take care. We've been the OddPodd. You've been amazing. See you next time.